galaxy near you. This is Brothers in Booze. And here are your hosts, Greg Washington and Doug Ziegler.
Doug, were you ever in a dance-off?
Many.
Did you win?
It doesn't matter so much of winning. Like, I don't know. It's more of like just more of a respect thing when you're in that sort of like in the house music stuff. It was now breaking and all that shit. I don't know. So maybe that's the case because that was never my jam. But yeah, I don't know. I had a blast doing
it. I thought the first guy had him, Doug. I really do.
Yeah, but just the idea that he was just like, watch us, and then the old leg jump, man. Remember that back in the day? That was the move too. That was the move. So yeah,
I was never trying that shit. That's why I asked you.
Yeah,
I wasn't that.
I was a fool who tried worse shit than that. So anyway,
I tried breaking, but it broke me. How about that?
I mean, that is a particular kind of dance that I've tried. I do not have the ability to do that. So yeah.
It takes something. Well, we do have the ability to try a beer, right, Doug?
Yeah. What you got?
Klonstock Kolsch from Hubbleton Brewing. Doesn't smell great. Doesn't smell great. It drinks better.
Oh, good. Where's Hubbleton? Where is that brewery?
Out in the middle of literally nowhere. I don't even know if it has an address, Doug.
Do you just like show up to a shack out there? Here's your beer.
Farmland, crazy driveway. It was really, yeah. It's bigger now, but back in the day, it was literally a farmhouse brewery. They've grown, but this is pretty good, Doug.
All right, perfect for the spring. I'm glad it tastes better than what it smelled because
perfect for the spring.
Before I get to I have a fun. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just showing it.
Oh, it looks good. Very much looks the part. So, yeah. Before I get to my beer, I want to tell you one quick story about the time that Jill and I and my two of her siblings went to a cidery up in the Finger Lakes. And it was like this name, Black Duck Cidery. Cool name for a cidery. We go up and the driveway is just this gravel driveway to this trailer out in the middle of a field. There's no fucking display board with the name of it on or anything. And we get to it and the guy comes out and he goes, "Oh yeah, come here." And we have to walk around the back of this fucking train to go into this cidery. It was so sketchy. And we're walking around and I look at Joe and I go, I'm glad there's four of us and only one of him because otherwise I feel like we were getting killed. Like, what the hell's going on there? But yeah, anyway, that was just one weird.
Nice.
That's why your Huddleton or whatever sounded a lot like that to me. So yeah.
Rural Wisconsin.
So yeah, no banjos were not playing there, Jonathan. So he said banjos were playing. No, they were not playing. So no, thank you. All right. So what I grabbed was actually something. Since tomorrow we're supposed to get snow flurries up here in upstate New York in the morning.
Sounds about right.
I grabbed Hibernation. It's a vanilla porter from Prison City Brewing, which is up in. It's pretty popular brewery. They've grown quite a bit the past 2 years. So this is right up Greg's alley.
You can hear.
You're like,
good times.
Yeah. So I have not had this one before. I just honestly found it and I'm like, well, this is perfect if we're going to get fucking snow tomorrow. Of course, it'll just be flurries or something like that, but still, that's kind of crazy that it's almost tax day and we're still getting snow. So yeah, is it my super hyper aggressive pour as usual? The vanilla is there, but not crazy on the nose. So ooh, Greg, you would love this beer. The vanilla is nice on there. The porter's super roasty. Like this is like I could see why this would be like a winter beer because it's just like it's kind of thing you drink in front of a fire. Just yummy. Really, really well done vanilla porter.
Is it sweet?
Not much. No. Actually, I had poured one for Jill earlier, and she was like, "It's not that sweet," and she was expecting like a sweeter stout.
Right.
So yeah, it was. But that it has both Madagascar and Tahitian vanilla, so apparently that makes it extra fancy. But yeah, that's very, very, very good. Anyway, I tend to drink stouts all year round, so I guess we did.
Eclipses are not overrated beer days. I know who this is.
Oh, it's beer days. Okay.
Yeah, what the fuck? He's got some explaining to do on that one. I think he probably did, but I missed it.
Yeah.
So Doug, I think you have some explaining to do.
Yes.
Because
So
we're gonna bring in our guests.
Yeah. So our guest tonight is somebody that I've known on Twitter for 3 years. We were just talking a bit before the show, realizing that it's been that long.
Doug, that's probably like what, 9 life years or something.
I think it's more closer to like dog years in Twitter. It's like 21
something
years.
Like that, right? Okay. Yeah. Okay, cool.
So I met her through
like
this.
You've known someone online. No, real quick, you learn someone online. It feels like you've known them forever. In 3 years could seem a long ass time, especially after the pandemic.
Well, and especially with Twitter, because that shit moves at like lightning pace. So that makes it accelerate. So, but yeah, I met her on there, and she is extraordinarily funny. And I'm really thrilled that we're going to be able to bring her on because we get to talk about, she started a business, co-work business for women-focused co-work business that includes things like daycare and things like that to help women,
What's
get back. It's called Blush Cowork. So
thank you for the cue.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the cue to say it. Yeah, because I'm so on top of it, right?
Yeah, I was like, come on, Doug, give me that. Yeah. No, but it's called Blush. This is pretty. I like her. I like the advertising here. I really do.
Yeah, she does a really great job with that. So why don't we bring on our guest, Alison or Allie Rogers?
You know how to do that.
Oh, do I? Yeah. Welcome, Allie.
Thank you. Hello.
How are you doing tonight?
I'm great. It's very good to be here.
Good. We're glad to have you. What are you drinking this evening?
Yeah, don't tell anybody on Twitter, but I am drinking a LaCroix. That's the ultimate betrayal, but
yeah, there's a whole bunch of people on Twitter who've shit on LaCroix like right and left. So yeah, so talk to us a bit about Blush. Give us a little bit more of a like what Blush is, because I did a very poor job of explaining that. So
well, yes. So Blush Cowork is it's a woman-focused co-working space in Cary, North Carolina, and we have on-site childcare, which makes us unique, as far as I know, right now in the state. As far as there's no other place like it in the state right now, and there are a few other around the country. But anyway, yeah. So we've been open for 2 years now, and it's my passion.
Yeah. Well, what made you have the desire to start this? Because starting a business that's not something I would ever do. I know I wouldn't. Right. So what was the impetus for you to start doing that?
So Blush was kind of formed, like in the last, my kids are 7 and 11. So in the last 11 years, I've gone through various periods of, I had another business before. So I was working from home. I felt really isolated. I always struggled with finding reliable childcare. And then during the pandemic, all of those things were very amplified because I had a, one kid in virtual school and a 3-year-old whose daycare was closed. And so I got nothing done. I was working, I had an employer at that time. I was working for a marketing firm, and, they were not understanding. They didn't get it. It was is very like male dominated. And the owners of my company said, like, the first week of the pandemic, they were like, well, we're letting you work from home. You should be more productive than you would be at the office. And we expect you to work longer hours. And what's the big deal about having kids at home? Because, you know, that's not a big deal. Like, knowing full well that these people had nannies and stay-at-home spouses that took care of their kids. So, yeah. And then a little later on in the pandemic, I got laid off. So that was, you know, that kind of sped up the process a lot. And it's just, you know, I was just thinking, how could I solve all of my problems? And just kind of hoped that other people had them too. And Cary is it's a huge kind of suburban town adjacent to Raleigh. And we have the highest percentage of remote workers in the country. Over 40% of the people here work remotely. So it just seemed like the right place and the right time to do it.
Wow.
Definitely. Greg?
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if to approach this one now or later. Let's just go in there now. What is the importance and significance of having a woman's safe working area? Please speak to that part in itself, please.
Yes. So, I mean, especially during the pandemic, because a lot of that care work falls on women naturally. And I saw it in my own home. You know, I had both kids there. My husband was working from home, but the kids didn't go to him for anything. You know, they came to me. And seeing a lot of my colleagues' attitudes towards me during the pandemic and even beforehand, you know, it was hard. Like, for example, I always tell people this is kind of really indicative of the working environment at my job. So I was in a meeting. I was the only woman in this meeting, and there were probably like 5 men in there. And they asked me to take notes. And I was like, well, I'm leading the meeting. Why would I take the notes? And then somebody said, they were like, well, Alison, you don't know how to do this. And it was actually it was like coding an email. And in my previous life, in my own company, I had done over 2,000 of those. So, you know, things like that. I was just like, it's just, there's so much, I experienced so much like casual disrespect and sexism. Not just there, like at plenty of other workplaces and, you know, still today. So I just thought with so many setbacks that happened to women in particular during the pandemic, and women being forced out of their jobs, losing their jobs, or stepping back because they had to focus on care tasks. I was like, I think maybe I can help in a small way to like level that playing ground a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. So, what's interesting to me is you said about how they said will allow you to work remotely, and you should get more done. But now they're reversing that and saying you're not getting enough done at home. You need to come into the office, which that's all about. To me, that's all about the idea that they paid for this real estate, and now they don't have enough people there, and they feel like they're losing money on the real estate.
Oh, absolutely. That's a real thing. Yeah.
Oh man. So
how does something like this work? Obviously, I'm not a female, but let me play one for this exercise. How about that?
Well, I will say, like, just a disclaimer, it's an inclusive space. So like everyone's welcome. It's woman focused, but everyone's welcome.
No, and that's cool. And I think, do you want to explain the woman focused part before I get to my question? Like, what does that mean as a man walking in and it says women's focus? So, Allison, I get these conversations when there are white people that want to go to black things and they say, well, I'm white. I can't go because I I'm white and I don't fit in and I'm not black. And
Right.
Doug and I go through this because we go through Barrel and Flow, and it's a black, primarily black brewery, festival, basically. And people are like, "Well, I'm white, I can't go." So then I'm a male, I'm a cis male, Allison. What am I gonna do? I can't go to your place.
The woman focused, it's really about, it was creating a place where women did feel like safe and supported, and a community where women feel safe and supported. And of course, like, we would want to include in that community anybody who wants to make women feel safe and supported. So, but on the surface level, I will say it's just a lot of pink. There's a lot of pink here. But I don't know. It's been a good, yes. So you can see
Multiple shades of pink.
yes. But that really, that comes from really like setting up an expectation for people to say, like, this is going to be a place where women feel comfortable. We're targeting towards women, and the people that don't feel comfortable with that, who might not be the best members of the community, they kind of like, they remove themselves from it. So the brand does a lot of the heavy lifting as far as like telling people what we're about. I've found that we have a lot of great male members, non-binary members, that's not a problem for them, but they're people that would come in and uphold our values anyway, and respect women. So
Excellent. So what does that look like? Do I buy blocks of time? Do I buy the month? Do I buy a whole year? Or how does that actually, that business side work?
Well, and one of the things that was really important for me was setting up something that was flexible. So we have memberships, but everything's kind of month to month. There's no long-term commitment. So you have memberships. We have dedicated desks that are kind of like a step-up membership, where you have your own dedicated space. We have private offices. You can come in just for the day. You can come in, you can buy like a pack of day passes and come in a few times. So there's really a lot of flexibility with how you can engage with us. And, besides coming here to co-work, we do events. So we have a lot of other people coming in just for events. And we have conference rooms. So we'll have people come in just for an hour or two. So really it's kind of whatever need you have, you can come and you can be a member and stay for a few years, or you can come for the day.
Awesome.
Really cool.
So what about a scenario where a woman's like just coming back into the workforce, meaning like she's either just got a divorce, or maybe she's kind of, money's tight and she's got to do something. So she's trying to help out with the house, or she's on her own and she wants to start a new business. Like, how does that work? What would you do in that space to help them get started, I guess?
Well, we have a couple of different things that we do, and I would love to be able to expand these programs, because a lot of what my belief is is that it's accessible to people. So, especially the childcare, because that is a key in a lot of women being able to, make a transition or start a new job or start a business. They need that childcare component. But we have a program where I have certain community members who apply, and we supply them with free memberships, and then they help out. They become members who will help out and like do a shift at the front desk, do tours, things like that. So they're active in the community and are acting as like representatives for Blush in exchange for their membership. And then we have our women's work program, which provides free day passes and conference room, video room time to women who have been recently affected by job loss or layoff, or women who are actively job seeking. So if they're going through that transition, we can potentially help them at no cost. And we've had like, I love that program because we've had a lot of women. I don't know. We seem to have good luck. The women, they come here and they'll like, they'll work on the resume. And we have we have a lot of different people in the community that we can connect them to. But they'll do like their video interviews here. And we've had so many people, like most of the people that have done that, then like get the job. Like we have, just good luck here, but it's a lot easier to do, like if you're video interviewing, it's a lot easier to do in here with no distraction than it is to do at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember we've seen, this is a good question. Can you see it, Ellie?
Yes. And yes, we have lots of events, and a lot of them are centered around learning and continuing education, and like workshops for entrepreneurs and business owners. We had like from different experts, like we had someone who owns a PR firm come in and kind of give like a primer on PR for small businesses. And then we had like a trademark attorney. We had an employment attorney. We've had lots of different people who will come in and give free workshops for women. And well, everybody, I should say that, but, so that's been really great. We've done like job seeker nights. We've done, all kinds of different, my favorite event was one that we did called the Profesh Refresh. And so it was all about making over, especially for women who are kind of like entering back into the workforce, but like making over your LinkedIn profile and, what to wear to a job interview. And there was even a woman who she was both a makeup artist and she also worked for Zoom. And she gave, like this whole talk about like what looks best on camera. So that was really interesting. So we have lots of things like that are free or low cost for people to come and engage with.
Doug and I know what doesn't look good on camera. It's our faces, but
fair point.
We push through that. We push through that. But let's see, Doug, you had a comment before we put Daniel. You were going to say something before we put Daniel's last question up. And I totally took you off guard, so I'm sorry.
That's okay. I was going to ask something like, let's say do you have something in place for, let's say, some women who are coming in and they're really coming from a bad spot, and they don't have a lot of resources. Mm-hmm. Is there ways to do things like office clothes, like donations for clothes to wear for job interviews, and to do that sort of thing, or donations in other capacities that could help with Blush? Is that something that also is offered there by a chance?
So for those kinds of things, we've partnered with other organizations that do that best. So like a few months ago, we had a big drive for Dress for Success, which is an organization that really specializes in like helping women, who are going through job transitions, getting the, interview outfits and things like that. So we were able to engage with them, and, they have all the resources and the knowledge of how to do that. But then our Blush members could help out with that. And brought more awareness to that organization. We have a nonprofit that's actually headquartered here called TAPS, which is Triangle Area Parenting Support, and they help women who are, who are about to become mothers and maybe don't have any resources, maybe are not prepared. And we did a couple of volunteer days where we helped sort and create packages for their like community baby shower, where women could come and basically get all the things that you get at a baby shower, but maybe they don't necessarily have the people in their life that would be able to help them out with that. So
yeah, it's pretty.
We've been able to do some of the things like that, but it just naturally, like, this space does attract a lot of, we've just been able to create really great partnerships with other people who specialize in doing all those things.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think
you were gonna say something.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think utilizing organization that have a lot of experience in that was definitely a great idea. Like I was just thinking of it in kind of an off the cuff thing. Like, like we will donate some stuff to like women's shelters, but those are shelters. It's a specific need that they have. And I just, I imagine you're getting people from all different kinds of situations and all different kind of walks of life and what, different scenarios. So I was just trying to get a scope of what you guys can do. And the idea that you're partnering with other organizations to help is really fantastic.
Yeah. Well, and I've just had really good opportunities, and a lot of people, I've just been able to meet a lot of amazing people who have started their own organizations, and a lot of women who've started those kind of nonprofit organizations. Like there's another amazing one called No Woman, No Girl. And in December, we did a whole week-long drive for them and collected like personal care products and things like that. And continue to when they have a need, then I'll send a call out to my community and say, hey, they're collecting, this week, they really need some shampoo. So, and so we can partner with them, and they know how to actually get it to the people in need.
Excellent.
Yeah, our audience members agree, but we beat them to it, Doug. So
yeah, she was good. Yeah.
Jay, she also has this to say. Creating a community outside the community. Love that for the women that you're supporting. We do too. Doug, do you have a follow-up, or I have one?
Go ahead. I'm gonna have more beer.
I'm gonna have a THC seltzer here, actually.
Oh, very
25
nice.
mgs.
25, dude. The last time you did that, you were your eyes were like slits for But good on you. How does it taste?
And I'm almost done this one, so
oh my god.
Yeah. They're tasty. What do you want me to do? Allison, so the thing that jumped off at me the most when I was doing the background research, but I don't think it's a top of the I don't think people immediately think of this when they think of you and what y'all do, but to me it's the first thing I think of, actually, but I don't know if anybody else agrees, is work-life balance. It's huge. It's a big thing. One of the things that I've found as a father of two young adults is that that's their biggest struggle, really, is the school, the work, the friends, the video games, the family, and fitting all that time in there. There becomes a sense of overwhelming doom sometimes with them. And it's weird as an adult, or it's not, I don't know if it's weird, but as an adult, we're kind of we're kind of used to this. We're 30, 30 years into adulthood where all this, kind of crashes on you, and they're just feeling it. And when we grew up, it was basically, hey, just man up, just woman up. Just, this is what you got to do. Do you have any, I saw you react to it. I don't know. It's kind of an open-ended question. I'm sure work-life balance is part of what all y'all, I know it's what all y'all do. I guess that had an effect on you starting all this. I don't know. I don't really have a question. I just wanted you to kind of comment on that big open scope.
Yeah.
And go.
Huge thing. Yeah.
No, this is something I hear this a lot. The positive feedback I get is from people saying that you really helped me be able to do all these things. You helped me be able to launch my business and know that my child is taken care of, and that I'm helping other people have work-life balance. My work-life balance sucks. So I'm not a good example, but I hear every day that I'm helping other people with it. So,
well, you're also you're still pretty young in your business thing there too. At the beginning of the business, anytime people start business, they always talk about how that's their fucking life for several years until you can get it up and running really well.
It really is. Yeah. I do, because we do events and things like that after hours, private events or Blush events. And so sometimes it'll be, like 12, 13, 14, 15-hour day. And then I also work on Sundays. So.
Oh, so you're not Chick-fil-A. Good job.
No, we have a private event that happens every Sunday. So I'm here at the minimum 6 days a week. And then if we have any private events on Saturday, then I'm here 7. So.
All right. So do as I say, not as I do. Gotcha.
You're right.
Look at that. That's that was something that I actually remembered you talking about, how you had advertisements at the Carolina Panthers game. So
Yes.
how cool is that?
That was amazing. When I got to go to the games and see like my logo in the stadium, like that was awesome. Incredible.
That had to be awesome. So yeah. Hey, can I drop my second beer before we jump into the next thing? Greg, you're gonna like this. This is a classic. Eyinger Maybach.
Yeah, it is.
That's old school. Like really old school.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So what I love about this is actually, I don't know if you can see the cap. It's the brewery on the cap.
Nice.
I don't know. I'm a sucker for shit like that. You know how I am about bottle art and can art and stuff like that. You're taking the.
Who said it was dumb?
I don't think it's dumb. I just think that's freaking cool. Like they're really cool caps. I will keep. And so I have a little drawer here of about maybe 5 or 6 of them, but yeah. So I really like my box. I don't see a lot of them. I think I saw 2 of them. The only thing is, man, I'm not even pouring this aggressively, and this thing is going nuts with the. That was like not even an aggressive pour, and I usually pour very aggressively. So, but look at the color on that, Greg.
Yes. So I got an easy question for Allison while you drink that.
Yeah, go.
Where's the nearest coffee shop?
Well,
I didn't even get to drink my beer, you asshole.
Sorry.
I mean, this question could go a couple ways, but like if you're asking about like where is the closest place to get fantastic coffee, it's right here. Because I have after some work, I partnered with this local woman-owned roaster called 321 Coffee, and they employ all people with intellectual or developmental disabilities. So, but they also have incredible coffee. So we serve it right here. But as far as like, are you talking about like competition coffee shop right across the street?
No. You answered the question.
Okay.
I don't have to leave to get my coffee. I can just show up to get my coffee.
Yes, and it's free.
I'm in.
Oh, I sold. I just got to move now, Doug.
Coffee is really like the most important thing in any co-working space. Like I might say like, oh, it's the community, it's the childcare. The coffee is really, really key and really important.
Yeah,
that's why I asked.
Yeah, and coffee is like kind of a communal thing anyhow, right? So that even helps it.
Mm-hmm. Look at right, and it doesn't, and it's not just folders, JHG. You know what I mean? It's not like, like normal office has folders. Doug, you don't have to tell us, but y'all got some kind of like folders, don't you? Y'all don't have.
No, I do not. I have to drink decaf because.
No. I'm talking about at your work. Like
at work,
go to work,
shittiest,
they have folders? It's
the shittiest, cheapest stuff that they get from like the Cisco vending thing.
Yeah,
no, it's terrible. It's just
that's
fucking
what I'm saying.
terrible.
Right.
They make it, and I'm like, and they make it, and they try to put it, and they'll do like double bags of it, and it still tastes like I peed in a coffee cup. Like there's no flavor to that. Like, why are you making this? Like, it's free though. I guess it's hot. Maybe that's your goal. I don't know.
Yeah. But it's very possible to have free good coffee.
Yeah. Free good.
So,
interestingly,
someone else ready to sign up?
Yeah. Interestingly, like when I go to our corporate office in Detroit, it's awesome coffee that they have for free there. And where I am, it's shit. And where my office is actually they have a bunch of really great coffee roasters right near there. And why they don't partner with them is beyond me. But yeah. Maybe it's too expensive, but whatever.
Yeah.
You're exactly right.
Mm-mm.
Ah,
That's not acceptable, Doug. It's not.
I totally agree. I totally agree. It is unacceptable.
All right.
It's part of our values here. Like when our values are kind of like it's on the website, it's written on the wall. But working with local companies and women-owned is a really priority here. So I had to get good local coffee.
This comment here, sorry, I just popped it right off there. This is
Nope.
exactly what happens when I go into the office. Let's
Yeah.
make it the weakest, blandest shit possible. And all right, here, Allie, another question about the coffee. What
Yeah.
kind of creamer, milk, sugar situation do you have? Because the one that my job is either those little tiny plastic piece of shit coffee
No.
maids, or that shit that's powdered, which never mixes.
No. We don't do any of that. So we have in the kitchen, we have the coffee maker and set up, and we have this amazing machine, which is also from a local company, and it'll make lattes and cappuccinos and things like that. So there's some, dairy it's in the machine, but then we also have all kinds of different, creamer, like name brand creamer, and oat milk, almond milk, in the fridge as well too. So we have a half and half. We always have a big variety. There's usually at least 5 or 6 options in the fridge.
All right. I do milk, and then I do sugar in the raw. I'm a snob about the sugar bit. I don't know why.
I am too. We have sugar in the raw. I have to have that.
Yeah, even if it's like that, not sugar in the raw that comes, it's like the demerara sugar. That works too, because it's not the it's the unprocessed, it's like that, not that white shit, which
Right.
Or worse, Splenda or Sweet and Low. That stuff tastes terrible. And maybe you like it, but not for me.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, blah blah blah.
No,
Greg,
but there's no point in having good coffee and then having bad creamer options. That's just going to mess it up.
Greg, how do you take your coffee? I don't think we've ever discussed this.
A little dab of cream. That's it. I avoid the sugar, Doug, for obvious reasons.
Yep.
So a little dab of cream gives me that sugar, and I don't know, if it's good coffee, you don't need that much.
Mm-hmm.
It's how I feel.
Yeah, look how lovely that beer looks, by the way. That looks
Yeah.
really nice.
What is that?
That's the My Box.
Oh, that's
Hanger. But they've been making this for 400 fucking years, so it should be good. I like how it's called bold, strong, robust pale lager. So 7% of the lager is pretty fucking high, but
yes. So here
we go.
Where you already know what's gonna happen next.
JG telling on himself. That's okay.
Yeah.
We love that anyway.
Just a little, just a little. But I don't know. No shame on the folks that like the sugar and the cream. Whatever. Doug, whatever coffee you like, we're good. Whatever beer you like, we're good. Mm-hmm. But food though sometimes gets complicated around here.
Oh yeah, it does.
And I heard Alison has a very for lack of a better word, interesting food take here.
Yeah,
so
she does.
We're going to give Alison the floor to explain this, because I just don't.
You know what it's going to be, right, Allie?
I do know it's going to be.
Explain what I brought up to Greg that we need to talk about. So
let's put you on the big screen here by yourself. Yeah. Oh no. That one. That'll work.
I'm guessing this is about soup.
Yes, it is.
What?
What is so bad?
No soup at lunch there? No lunch soups and
I don't prohibit people from bringing soup into my space. The only thing that's prohibited in here is glitter, but
that's fair.
Yeah. But no, I mean, like soup is just what you eat when you're like sad or sick. I don't
No.
see the appeal on a day-to-day basis.
Dog.
All right.
Do you have anything for this, dog? Because
Well, I do. I have a lot of things to say about that. Allie and I have argued about this before, so I'm the wrong person to ask. Is there an acceptable soup for you?
Oh yeah, I mean, this is okay. So I'm not as much as a soup hater as I play on Twitter.
Okay.
It's played up for comic effect, but no, I like like a butternut squash type of situation occasionally. But yeah, like if somebody's like, "Oh, do you want some chicken noodle?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
Glitter therapy.
That is true.
Well
No.
said. All right, go ahead,
Let me
Allie.
tell
Sorry.
y'all a story about glitter. So why it's prohibited in here? Because so I had this, and it was a private event, and it was this great organization, and they kind of take, they give little girls a chance to kind of develop their sense of self-esteem and confidence, things like that. So this was kind of like their the final thing. They had like this red carpet set up, and Miss North Carolina and Miss Teen North Carolina were here, and these little girls, like who were about like 5 or 6. They all came out in these like fancy dresses, and they got to have their pictures made with Miss North Carolina, Miss Teen North Carolina. These dresses were all covered with glitter, and there was glitter everywhere. And of course I had that was like an event on a Saturday, and then I had 2 events scheduled the next day. So I was in here like vacuuming. I had tape on my hand. I had a lint roller. I was trying to get the glitter off of everything. And I still find pieces of glitter, and it drives me crazy. They sat on every chair I have. There's glitter everywhere. And they were so sweet. And I mean, it's not like they did anything wrong, but I was just like, no more glitter.
Right.
I can't do it.
Right.
I'd rather
How long
eat
ago
soup.
was that?
So
How long ago was
that was probably a year ago. The glitter.
You're still finding glitter?
I'm still finding glitter. Yes.
Oy vey. All right, so we got derailed a bit on this. I need to dig more into the soup thing now that we've established you're not as much of a hater as you say.
No, but it's so much funnier to like see people react and
right.
You know.
I
but
love
yeah, like
soup.
I'm not going to go home and be like, oh, I'm craving soup. Like that's just not going to happen. But it's not like I would take a bowl of soup and like just toss it straight in the trash or anything. So
okay. All right. That makes me feel a little better about our relationship.
Yeah.
I just was like, I know I didn't realize you. I thought, well, maybe she's just playing up, and then I'm like, but you kept at the bit so long that I just kind of bought it. So
I commit to the bit.
Yes, you do. So I will say that. But we didn't really delve in or find out what ones you like. If you're going to have a soup, let's say you're going to have a soup. If you're going to say, well, I'll have soup, what soup is it?
Well, okay. So this gets into a philosophical discussion. Like, does chili count as soup?
No, that is more of a stew.
Okay.
But I love chili, so I wouldn't denigrate you for that.
I'd rather have a stew, but I mean, like, I like a pho, and like, if that's like a soup, kind of thing. But like, if you're talking about like a can of Campbell's, like, I don't want it.
No. JG asked, was there glitter in your soup?
Maybe. It's deep childhood trauma.
Yeah. I think pho does definitely count because pho is delicious. That is
delicious. Yes.
Yeah. So fair there. Greg, what's your go-to soup? What is your
pho soup?
Yeah, what is your go-to soup, Greg?
Let's say pho.
Pho is a good choice.
Why not? We've been eating it a lot recently, so yeah, that's a soup. But I don't know. It's just good. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can call it whatever. I don't know. I got this, Doug.
What you get?
I'm gonna open it, and this is gonna be my last hurrah tonight. It's a brandy old fashioned from Wollersheim Distillery, which is one of our big wine places out here. And they have a distillery. And y'all, or maybe y'all don't know, old fashioned is. I'm in Wisconsin, Allison. So old fashions are Wisconsin's drink.
Oh, I did not know that.
That's one thing we take a lot of pride in up here is our old fashions, our cheese, and our Packers, or their Packers, not mine. But yeah, whatever. So as I pour this out, Doug, it actually has some fizz to it. Not expecting that. I mean, is this like a cocktail drink? It's let's see here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected any sort of. I wouldn't have expected any sort of fizz out of that.
Yeah, chill and enjoy. Okay, well, I did that. So, or I chilled. Let's see if I enjoy.
I like a good old fashioned. So yeah.
Dog, this is very it's like a old fashioned seltzer.
Oh, interesting.
It's really nice.
Seltzer.
Yeah, but it's not over boozy. It's really approachable. I taste the booze, but it's not, like it would be for an old fashioned, actually, if that makes sense. It's not booze heavy. It's really light and refreshing. And it's nice, and it goes nice with that little THC thing I had going on. So yeah, Doug, unless you still have more soup to talk about.
I have one comment to talk about that JHG posted there.
Keep going.
Which is this: tomato soup is a top 3 soup. All right. Tomato soup is good for dipping grilled cheese in. Homemade tomato soup is very good, but it's not like, man, I want a bowl of tomato soup. That is always accompanied with a grilled cheese.
No.
And I will say, how do you guys feel about French onion soup? Because that's a top tier soup for me. I fucking love French onion soup.
I don't know if it's top 3, but it's top 2.
Allie looks so impressed.
It's mid, as the kids would say. Like, it's just
as the kids would say.
They would say that.
It's boring. It's boring.
Now, to be fair, I did post that I had a red Thai chili or curry soup that I posted in a Twitter group, and I was like, I don't even like soup, and I would eat that.
Yeah.
It was good. It had rice and stuff, and it was fucking delicious. But yeah, so I will give you some credit there, Allie. I apologize for denigrating you about the soup thing.
If it's a special soup and not just like,
Are chowder soups?
I think so.
Okay.
Although I would
give me all the chowders. Give me all of them.
I would prefer bisque to chowder any day, but
is it biscuit soup?
Yes. Very thick soup. Very thick soup. I will say something I do not like is cold soups. Like gazpacho.
Oh yeah.
Ooh. That
sounds horrible.
Yeah, it's just cold soup. Like, no thanks. I want my soup hot.
That's cereal.
Whoa. All right. Of course the masshole says this.
He's right.
He's
not wrong.
Now wait. Fresh clam chowder is very good. Clam chowder, if it's in a can or anything like that, completely sucks.
No, and Manhattan doesn't count.
Agreed. Agreed.
All right, Doug. What does count, I think, is we're ready to roll, right, Doug? We can go to all right, cool.
That was so mellow, Greg.
Oh,
like that's a new song for that, I think.
No, it's not. It's the same old one, but it just mellows you out. So, Allie's going to mellow us out with what she was reading. Actually, Allie, it wasn't the thing that you're currently reading because you said you were struggling through that. It was the one that you recently read and you thought was fantastic, which is, I'll put it up here so you remember.
Because I can't remember.
Yes. So yeah, I mean, I love Curtis Sittenfeld, and I think I've read most of her books, and this one was just like a great, easy read. And like full disclosure, I listened to the audiobook, but that counts as reading.
Mm-hmm.
So I
that
felt
counts.
really
That
good.
counts. That
Yes.
counts.
Oh,
And this was a book that I read of my, on my own terms and not for our book club here. So I think I enjoy it more when it's not an assignment and it's a choice. So it had that going for it as well.
Yeah. Don't we all kind of function that way? If you're like
I
forced to
mean,
do it, you just
I think that's pretty human, but
Yeah.
some other people seem to love like, yeah, sign me that book club book. I love it.
Allison, what's the premise of this?
So the premise is it's basically like there's a lot taken from Saturday Night Live, but it's totally a fiction book. But it's a woman who is a writer, a comedy writer for like a show that's like Saturday Night Live, and it's
An
just like,
ensemble variety show.
so it's called The Night Owls, and so the author did a lot of research into Saturday Night Live, and she like lists all her source material, like what she researched, but it was good. I mean, it felt like realistic, but it was just like really great, moving, like not moving in that like I felt emotions, but just it had a nice pace. It was just enjoyable.
Have you gotten into these? All right, I see a lot of stuff. Craig hates that I do this, but on TikTok I see a lot of book talk stuff.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like a Crown of Thorn and Roses, and like these kind of books. Are you into those?
No. So
they're like
smut.
They're like smut books, is what they count.
Yeah, like it's like fairy smut or dragon smut, and like my book club it's so the Blush Book Club it's a lot of women who are actually not moms and who are quite a bit younger, and they are like super into it and they love all these books and like went to the release parties at midnight for these things, and I'm like, that's my next month, and I'm just like, I can't do it. Like I can't get into it, but it's all over. I mean, everyone has read these books, and it's like A Court of Thorns and Roses, and then like Fourth Wing in those books, and I can't.
Yeah, the Fourth Wing one is the dragon.
Yes.
Smut, which is like that's. Now, what's funny is my one of my kids is they're 19, and they're non-binary, but they are really into the Court of Thorn and Roses and all that stuff. They're into all that stuff, which I'm like, okay, well, that's you. And I just started laughing. They're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, read what you like. Just because I think it's silly doesn't mean that you shouldn't fucking read it. Read what you like.
I mean, it's got to be like the biggest thing, because if I go, like, there's a Barnes and Noble right across the street from my office, and you go in, and it's just, those are all the books that are all over the tables right at the front. It's just like these two authors that have just like taken over. So
yeah, it's nuts.
I'm trying, but I'm just not. I'm just not into the fantasy genre, I guess.
Maybe, and that's all good though.
Yep. Doug, what are you reading, Doug?
All right, so I started reading this book. I originally started watching the show, and I realized I wanted to read the books first. This is the Three Body Problem. I started watching on Netflix. What I didn't realize that the Netflix show is made by the same guys who did all of Game of Thrones, and those guys, the last two seasons of Game of Thrones notwithstanding, when they have a book to follow, they're excellent at making really hard shows to adapt out of books. Like, nobody thought you could do something as grandiose as Game of Thrones, and how big and vast and how dense those fucking books are. And I've read those, and those things are like, you finish a book and you feel like you ran a marathon. Those books are dense. This one is very sci-fi heavy. And the thing is, each book is perspective of a different person, and they never meet. But in the show, they make them meet. Because they needed to be cohesive somehow. So what's interesting about this is a book written by a Chinese author that was translated by their brother to English so that it could be sold in the US. I absolutely love sci-fi books, so this is all of my wheelhouse. So I'm really enjoying it so far. So yeah, that's what I'm reading.
Cool. I'm not reading anything, Doug, currently.
Hey, and as Allie's like talking about, reading or listening to audiobooks counts. I mean,
It does.
because if you're
Mhm.
let's say if you're vision impaired and reading doesn't work for you, audiobooks are the way you get books. So I think it counts no matter what.
Sure. Yep, and I'm not even doing that, so sorry. Doug, you know me, I'm weird. I'm also weird about this stuff too, Doug. So, Allie, not sure if you've watched the stream of ours or you know anything about it, but Doug and I, we agree on a lot of things. We range vastly on what we watch. Doug watches a lot of stuff, covers a lot of areas, and I love it, and that's why we have this segment. But and I don't sometimes. But Allie, we will let you go first. What are you watching, or what did you tell us you're watching?
Yeah.
Or
So
maybe you lied to us. I don't know.
You never know.
No, I did. So right now I'm watching the morning show and catching up on that. And just started a couple weeks ago, and now I think I'm on season 3.
So we've had somebody say that they've watched this before, but what's the premise?
So it is it's about a morning show, kind of like the Today Show. And there's an anchor that was on there. Season 1 was focused on kind of the anchor who was there, the female anchor, and then her male anchor got fired from the show for sexual misconduct, and then they brought in this kind of this other woman to co-anchor that was probably shouldn't have been anybody's choice, and but it's gone through now in the 3rd season. It's like post-pandemic. Season 2 was kind of leading right up to the pandemic. So there's they pull a lot of things from, real events that happened, but it's just all about all the drama that goes on behind the scenes at these shows.
I see Jennifer Aniston, and she's an excellent actress.
Yeah.
And that's Reese, right?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Reese Witherspoon. Yep.
Obviously,
Jennifer
that's
Aniston in this,
herself, so.
I really didn't. I mean, it's not like I thought she was a terrible actress, but in this, she's an excellent actress in this.
Did it change your opinion of her as an actress by watching this show?
Yes.
Okay. I will tell you that there is one show that did that for me, and it was the first season of True Detective and Matthew McConaughey.
Oh yeah.
Because he was so fucking good in that first season. I was like, this guy is the all right, dude. What the fuck?
No, he was that season of True Detective was it was amazing.
Yeah,
and he was really good.
And this past season of True Detective was almost as good as the first season, and that's saying something because the first season was phenomenal.
Oh, was that Night Country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if you haven't watched that, I really suggest you do. It's really, really, really good.
So I've watched I would say 80% of it.
Okay.
And then I just kind of I tapered off and I haven't watched the end. Which is
wow. Sounds like me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Greg won't watch anything unless all the episodes are out. He has to watch all of them all at once.
And even then it's complicated.
Yeah. Even then I could just kind of forget about it and walk away. And I have no problems with that.
Yeah. Now I had heard about the morning show that the show itself was kind of just fucking all over the place and weird and interesting and just kind of just some of the storylines what the fuck is this kind of thing. Is that true?
So it's entertaining and I want to keep watching it, but I have lots of problems with it. And yes, as far as the way it is very uneven as far as being consistent with kind of character development and even just little details. And I'm so they're making a show about a show where everything is they have every single detail in place and everything's totally put together. But in the show, like there are just some like, and it's silly stuff. Like, one example, like Reese will be reading off the teleprompter and she'll use, she said like, here's our top stories or something like that. And I was like, no, on the teleprompter, it would say like, here are our top stories. And was doing this weird, really weird, uneven accent. Like just people weren't catching these little details that really add to the realism and the impact of a show. So it was just kind of like staying at this, like, I don't know, it lacks some nuance and of a show where it really, of prestige TV, like it wants to be it, but it's just not quite getting there. It's still really entertaining and the acting is really good.
I was waiting for you to say that you could do something like I'm Ron Burgundy, like the whole thing. You put a question mark after the thing. I don't know. Sorry, that Anchorman still fucking cracks me up now. So yeah, I showed that to my kids and they fucking loved that movie. They thought that was the funniest thing they'd seen in a long time. But my kids are also young adults, and I only have one kid who's in high school, so they're all kind of older. But
yeah.
All right, Greg, you ready for me to talk about what I'm watching?
Are you?
I am. Let's go. So what I am watching is Ripley, which is this basically based off the Talented Mr. Ripley movie. And
Believe it or not.
Yeah. Ha 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 ha. So Andrew Scott's in it. That is one of my wife's favorite actors. And I think he's phenomenal in everything he's in, especially when he was Moriarty in the Sherlock show.
Mm-hmm.
And he was so fucking good in that. Everything he's in is just superb. Yes, the talented one, Daniel, you're correct. But it's shot all in black and white, which is, I will be honest, I have like, if movies are in black and white, generally I don't watch them. I have a weird like repulsion against older movies, and that sounds really ridiculous because I'm old. But but this is shot so well, and it's Andrew Scott's excellent. The two other main characters are really good in it. The actors I've never heard of or seen, but this is only, I think it's only 6 episodes, so it's a limited series. So I think I'm 3 episodes in. So this has been good so far. It's a little bit of a slow burn, so it's not something that moves super fast, but that's because it also takes place in the 1960s. So, it's not going to move fast, but Andrew Scott's great in it because he's just a great actor. So.
Well, I have to say, like, Andrew Scott is every wife's favorite actor. So, because he was Hot Priest on Fleabag.
Yes, he was. And my wife loved that show too.
Yes.
Which I watched. That guy, yes.
You can't see him.
Yeah, that's not a great photo of him. Just, he's so fucking good in everything he's in. He was in an episode of Black Mirror where the episode itself wasn't great, but he was great in it. And Black Mirror is my favorite show of the last 10 years. I fucking love that show. So yeah.
All right.
And Greg, just for you, I started watching the most recent season of Alone tonight. So
it's a slow burner at first.
Well, I'm going to say
keep to it.
The thing is, every season of Alone, the first thing I want to ask is all the participants is, where were you on January 6th? Sorry, I just like all these survivalist people. Like, they're the people that have like bunkers and stuff like that. And I'm like, where were you on January 6th?
But I understand that, and the reason I do is because it becomes a show that you root for everybody.
Fair.
You literally are rooting for them to, whoever to make it to the end, and it's just so tough and it's hard, and so they all become not heroes, but like people that you root for. Like, wow, this would be great. And Alone has had 10 seasons and not had a woman winner yet, so I'm always rooting for that. Though.
So.
Yeah.
I'm always rooting for that. And women have come damn close to winning it. Second and third, Doug, I think.
Yep.
Second for sure. I know that. And I didn't want her to quit, and she did. I was so.
Yeah, and the guy that won
Allison,
season 9, the guy that's won season 9, I was like, that dude shouldn't have won. But anyway, sorry.
Why?
Go ahead,
What
Greg.
was that? The Buffalo? What dude was that one?
That was the one where it was a dude who didn't start a fire and for until 2 weeks until the end of the show. Somehow he lived without making a fire in the middle of the fucking wilderness. And I don't know how he fucking did that. Which sounds like that guy should win. No, he was a douchebag. And he just, he was just like a guy, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing and just eat what I can find. And I'm not going to do anything. And it was just, he was not very
Allison,
compelling.
you watched Alone, it sounds like.
Yes, I have. Yes. I don't know if I've seen
Okay.
every season, but I've seen a good number of them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's season 10. And no spoiler alerts because Doug is just no spoiler alerts, but there's still a woman in there as far as I'm pretty far, Doug. So I mean, I guess it's a spoiler, but I don't know. I'm always rooting for a lady there. Always.
Same.
Good times though. That's what I'm watching. I'm still watching it, Doug. I was actually thinking about that tonight. Getting on a couple of those, but yeah. What were you gonna say?
Nothing. I was just going to talk about my third beer if we're ready.
Oh yeah.
All right. So my third beer is one, Greg, you will have heard of, but I don't think you've ever had. This is the Triple Nader from Trogs. This is their Troganator beer aged in bourbon barrels.
No. Maybe. No. Maybe.
I don't think you've had this.
Maybe.
And Troganator is a double bock that's really great.
Let me check my Untapped. Since it's in debate here. Oh, I haven't been in this place forever.
I never use Untapped anymore. That's too much like work for me.
I don't anymore, but I do the Trogs. What is it called?
It's Triple Nader.
There we go. Let's see what.
This is a triple bock beer aged in bourbon barrels. The bourbon barrels. Oh, so
strong ale.
Yeah. So basically,
Big and malty.
So it was bourbon barrel twist Munich and chocolate malts with Demerara, which was the sugar I was trying to describe earlier, Ellie, that I couldn't pronounce. Belgian candy sugars, hints of toasted coconut, vanilla, and molasses. I am also cellaring one of these, so it doesn't say what bourbon barrels are aged in. That I would like to know, but look at how dark and lovely that looks.
Strong ale, nice one, 13% too, nice one.
And man, that is absolutely delicious.
Nice one.
And bourbony, but not Bernie bourbony. Bourbony. It's like just got that nice bourbon flavor to it. Like, oh man, so good and a little roasty, a little sweet.
All right. Sounds good, Doug. Doug, so I got one more question for Allison, and if you do, then we'll just probably let her sail into the sunset here. It's been fun, but we asked this question last week, and it caused all kinds of craziness on the set here.
Oh boy.
So yeah, brace yourself. Doug and I, we can answer differently this week, Doug. We don't necessarily have to use what we did last year. Yeah,
I'm not even sure what question you're going to ask, but I'm ready. Let's go.
You'll remember once I show up, because remember last week it caused all kinds of problems. But so Allison, it's not that difficult, but you might get shamed, so be careful.
Okay.
What song feels like torture in your ears?
Anything Dave Matthews.
Oh,
every single Dave Matthews song.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah. Agreed.
I welcome anyone to shame me, because that just means they have terrible taste. So.
No. We won't have it, Allison. I agree totally. So we will not have that here.
Okay, good.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I hear that Dave Matthews is fantastic in concert. I could never, ever grab any of it on the radio at all, whatsoever. I'm completely agree with Allison. It's not even a joke.
Mhm.
Doug, you're going to defend Dave Crappy's band is what I used to call him.
Yeah, because live they're phenomenal. His band members
Okay.
that actually perform the instrument, the guys that play the instruments are great. His voice is yeah, but like it's the shows
Yeah.
themselves are really awesome. Yeah.
Was it so, Doug? Were they a band that you heard at a concert before you heard on the radio?
No, I didn't mind them on the radio. I didn't mind. My ex-wife was a big Dave Matthews fan, so and that's not the reason we're ex. For the record. But I went to I think 4 different Dave Matthews concerts with her.
Jay, she agrees.
Excuse me, but it was the concerts are great. Now, also, if you like to smoke weed, you can get high just sitting at a Dave Matthews concert because everybody
Right.
just smokes right around
Right.
everywhere. So if you like that,
And I suspect you have to smoke weed to enjoy it, but that's
maybe. Yeah.
We missed this earlier. I guess it's to everybody, but Allison, we could start. Morning shows Apple Plus. Anything else over there that you liked or you've liked in the past?
So I just started watching Morning Show because we just got Apple Plus. I don't think I've watched anything else on there, and I don't get to watch a lot of TV, so I'm pretty like slow with the binge, and so I haven't looked at anything else on there.
I got one for
Doug's
you.
got one for you. I know he does.
It's Severance. It's Severance.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That is a mind fuck, but not like a mind fuck where you're like, that really sucks. I don't want to watch that again. It's just a mind fuck in a good way.
Okay.
Also, JG, that's not the name of the song, you numbnuts.
It's Zombie. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. Greg, what's I know you? Yes, Severance. Yes, thank you. Greg, what's another one? Like last week, you mentioned Drake, and that about made our guess about fall off the chair. What other one? Because I was actually thinking about it. I have a couple.
Go.
Anything by Tom Petty. His voice is fucking horrible. Tom Waits, and Bob Dylan. Anybody those voices? Well, they're great lyricists. I don't give a fuck. Their voices all sound terrible. Fuck them. And I know Tom Petty's dead. I have no idea if he was a good guy or not. I don't care. I don't like.
He was.
Yeah. So
he was. Doug, that's disappointing, isn't it, Allison?
It really is. Yeah.
Right. Doug, I can't think of any.
In what world is like Dave Matthews like acceptable and
better than Tom Petty? Right?
No, not in the sound of his voice. No, the tenor of his voice is better than Tom Petty's. Just like. But Tom Petty is also in the All-Star Hall of Fame for ugliest rockers of all time. So. Hey, I'm speaking as an ugly guy myself, so I feel like I have the jurisdiction to say that.
Okay. Anyway, Doug, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have any bad songs.
So you shot your wad last week? What's going on there, man?
Yeah, I don't know. I usually don't know. I'm in a good place with music, man. It's cool.
There's a lot of great music.
Anything with Drake. Again, it's still Drake. How about that? Let's just carry Drake over. And now none of y'all are gonna argue. Allison's saying no, she likes Drake too, Doug. I can't. We're gonna keep going until we find a Drake hater, and then we can like celebrate together and all that. Next week, actually, here's a spoiler alert. Next week we don't have a guest yet, Doug. So we can definitely have a Drake-free show now, unless Allison wants to come back next week. But it's cool. But anyway, Allison, we will let you go. Doug, do you have any final words for our guests?
No, just really thanks for agreeing to do this. Like we know each other on Twitter, but it was just like, hey, why don't you come on? So, because specifically, I want to talk about your business because I wish more businesses sort of adopted an approach to taking care of people.
Mhm.
Too many businesses are unconcerned with taking care of people, and that's why I just thought it was really important to have you on and talk about that. I know you're in North Carolina specifically. So I know you're doing that for the folks there. North Carolina needs it because goodness, the amount of chicanery going on with your Congress down there is fucked up. So
Wow.
Yeah.
And
Don't
you
I
see
know
that
it?
governor candidate? You see that governor candidate guy?
Yes, the one who
Woo!
doesn't think women should be able to vote. Yes.
yeah, that guy.
Yeah. Mhm.
He's
I'm very
seems-
something.
familiar with him. There's the candidate for the director of public instruction, like somebody who would be over every school in the state, has kids that she's never sent to public school and was at January 6th. And
Great.
yeah, so like we've got a lot of things going on here that I need to, I feel compelled to work against. So,
Oh, one other thing to talk about for Allie is I think you were talking about that you were trying to advocate for the clearance of all the rape kits that were in North Carolina.
yes.
Can you talk about that and the good news on that? There's good news on that.
Yes. So a few years ago, like in 2019, they did a count and they were kind of looking at all the untested sexual assault kits that we had laying around in North Carolina that, they couldn't get to due to like resources like the state crime lab and was backed up and everything. So they kind of like grabbed everything and did a count, and it was 16,000 untested rape kits. So basically, I found out that, yeah. I found that out in 2019, and then I found out about this organization called what was it called? I was just talking about it, but basically, there's this organization that tracks all the untested kids, like state to state, and is trying to make sure that those kids get tested. I at my previous employer, they had a policy where every year they would, they would give on behalf, like to a charity or nonprofit on your behalf, and you got to choose, but it had to be something that was improved. Yes, 16,000 is abhorrent. So it had to be approved, and they wouldn't approve. Like the criteria was that it had to be something that was, important to local people and did some sort of good in the local community. And I was like, what could be more important for the people of North Carolina than making sure that we are not in the shameful position of having the most untested sexual assault kits in the country? But whatever, but yes, yesterday, no, a couple of days ago, it was announced that I think it was Josh Stein announced that all of those kits had been tested. So we are down, like we've totally cleared the backlog of tests, and it, like, they made 2,700 matches to offenders who were already in the DNA database. And so far, like 114 arrests, I believe.
Wow.
So, but yeah, and it's been a good example to other states too who have high backlogs. But like I said, North Carolina was the absolute worst. So, yeah.
It's also something that,
mixed news actually, but yeah.
Sorry,
Doug,
and then no, and it's to this point is where he said by not testing, you're inherently sending a message that they can probably get away with. It's also sending a message to the women who come forward.
Right.
Your voice is
not a priority, and they're not like, it's not important for that to be pursued. So, and it is important.
Yeah, but it is, well, but it's better than zero. Like, yeah, do we need to make more strides in that? Sure. But like, and this is the thing, is like we are working in this country, and I'm going to go a bit of soapbox here, so give me a minute. The idea of just women's rights in this country are getting just waylaid in all these conservative states, and it's starting to fucking drive me nuts. Like the idea that Arizona Supreme Court just said you need to adhere to an 1864 law about abortion, which was 50 years before they were a fucking state, and it was in the middle of the Civil War. Like I get that they want to make things as restrictive as possible, but like the idea that there's no humanity, there's just nobody on the conservative side that I've seen, and I could be wrong, but they are all concerned with staying in power and making things as restrictive as possible. And not just for now, someone like me who looks like me, I'm not affected by that because I pass as, just as I have a beard and I'm, older white. So people think that I'm of a certain thing. I'm not, but like, doesn't matter. I look like I pass, and that's enough for them. I'm not trans. I'm not queer. I'm not black. I'm not Muslim. I'm not anything that they think is a problem. So they just want everything to be on a certain level. It should be old white Christian men running everything, and that should be the people that make the laws. And that's a bunch of fucking shit. And I get so fucking angry talking about this because it's just, I'll be ranting, and my wife's like, hey, I'm on your team. I'm like, I know, but I need to get it out of my system, or I'm just gonna like implode. And I already have 5 pieces of plastic in my heart. I don't want to fucking make my heart explode at the same time. So yeah, sorry, that was just my little, just watching how systematically conservatives and specifically Republicans have tried to push everything back to a point where like they're coming for healthcare, they're coming for god damn it, I would say the pill, but all that sort of thing, like
birth control and
birth control. God damn it, why couldn't I remember that? Thank you, Allie. They're coming for all that. They're going to come for all of it.
Yeah.
And they're doing it to keep people in line to what they think is, they don't care what other people think. They just care what they think should be law. And that is really infuriating. That's me as a white guy who has a lot of privilege. That is not someone who is female or female presenting that has to go through all this shit, or someone who's black, someone who's Muslim, like
or someone who's all those things, like,
yeah.
And has to just deal with like, it's multiplied, and the effects of that. I mean, it's just like when I talk about, if you go through some of the statistics about women, I'm like, like equal pay. So you have a day that we celebrate, like, is like equal pay day, like when women kind of like catch up to men's salaries. But I'm like, that's not equal pay day for women who are not non-white, So it's just like, it's, those issues are just compounded and multiplied when you're a woman of color, or you're Muslim, and you're also a woman. So yeah, it's just really rough. I was having a conversation with one of my members, and she was like, I had said some political things about the couple of candidates that we were talking about earlier. And she was like, so do you worry about like being, like isolating some people, or like turning some people off with your, like, talking about your political beliefs? And I said, well, it's really easy for me to say, like, I cannot support this candidate that has been openly racist on social media, because that is counter to my, my personal beliefs and my stated beliefs for my business. So I'm like, I have no problem saying very openly, like, a person who has been openly racist on social media is not an ideal candidate for any sort of public office. And I'm not afraid to say that, of course. So yeah, I'm not afraid to say a man who has said that he doesn't believe women should be able to vote should not be governor. Like, that seems like a pretty safe thing to say for me to say as a business owner. So I don't think these should be controversial opinions.
Ooh. Yeah,
it's rough. I
Doug?
have one more thing to talk to Ali about if I can. So you and I had a brief discussion before the show started, and I think it bears piggybacking on what we were just talking about, is being a woman on Twitter.
Yes.
And I see it again from my lens as a progressive white guy, but I'm a progressive. I'm still a white guy. My life is informed by living as a white dude in a society that put people that look like me on the top of a pedestal and make it so we can fail up really easily. Like there's a lot of things that go into being how I look that that's just how it is. And it shouldn't be. But I said to you, I don't know how the fuck you are on Twitter as a woman, because the amount of fucking assholes and idiots that come on there and try to tell you, well, you're this. How do you navigate that? How do you specifically navigate that? Because it is a fucking cesspool on there, and I don't know how you stay on there.
Yeah.
Be honest, I don't.
I mean, I block anybody who is ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, a lot of it is kind of funny because especially I tweeted something this week and it was, it referenced my job and like that I am the owner of my company. But a lot of people will, because I'm here and I'm sitting at the front desk, like it's pretty common that people kind of like mistake me for like being, and in their words, like just the front desk person or something like that. And which, so I was making a joke about that, but I had so many, and it was all men. So I'm going to say men because that's the truth. And I'm not making generalization. That's actually, you can go through the comments. All men were saying, well, you are just a receptionist. And I kept saying, no, I own the company. And they were like, well, that's why you're just you think you're in charge. That's why you just answer the phones. And I'm like, no, I really do. I actually own the company. Like, I'm not like saying I'm a girl boss. Like, I'm not saying it like in that sense. I'm telling you the truth. Like, I own the company. And they were arguing with me. And one guy said that my boss should fire me. And I'm like, yeah, talk to her. Talk
to me.
Yeah, it's me. Yeah, no, I people all the time are, yeah, they just kind of, they make assumptions. And I was like, so a woman owning a business is not rare and it's not revolutionary. So I'm like, I don't even know where these people came from. So it's just like, sometimes it's a source of amusement. If somebody really crosses the line, then I'll report them and block them. But, it's so wild to me because I don't, I've kind of made a life for myself where I don't run across people who have that attitude very much.
Yeah.
So but I do get it on Twitter and I'm just like, really? Like people still think this way? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if I wasn't so like invested in just telling my little jokes as my little outlet, then I don't think I'd be there. But, I have met some really great people there. So that's kind of, that overrides any of the negativity that I see there.
Same. There's a set of folks that I've met on there that I'm really, really happy to have met, and you're one of them. So,
yes.
I appreciate that we're able to actually meet in that space, and you kind of take me for who I am, and then you mock me for loving my wife as much as I do. That's always fun.
That's just jealousy. Like I've never seen anybody with like such like like a kind of like open and healthy like love for their spouse. And I'm like, I just
I do. And I did that even before I had my heart attack, but like the heart attack made me appreciate it even more.
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky and very happy with who I'm with.
Yeah. Well, and I want to say for Twitter too. So when
I got
like a year and a half ago when I was doing my crowdfunding for Blush, the people the friends I've made on Twitter and even some people who I don't know very well on Twitter, those were really the people that supported that. So, I mean, Blush is really, part of the reason that I was able to like keep going and keep operating was due to support from people that I've met on Twitter.
What were you gonna say, Greg?
Yeah, so I'm sure Allison has run into this underbelly current group of Twitter people, Doug. I don't know if you know or if Allison knows. They're called groypers, and they are followers of our buddy Nick Fuentes. You know who he is, Doug?
Oh, yes.
So he has a group of, like, it's bad enough that there's one Nick Fuentes. He has a group of people who follow him, Doug. So,
All right. So Nick Fuentes,
these are white nationalist people who are some of the most sexist people that I've seen on that app. So I'm sure that, and they come in droves to Allison, and they have these like avatars with the frog thing, and
Pepe the Frog.
they're just fucking. They're really, really fucking disgusting, abysmal people.
Yeah.
To say it. And those are the type of people I believe run up on Allison and people like Allison on Twitter.
Yeah. Well, and I think I'm pretty good about like curating and like blocking people. There are certain things that I see in a bio or certain content that I see in their tweets, and I block and make sure that I don't see that and they can't see what I'm doing. And yeah.
That's good for your mental health on that, though, just to try to block the shit that gives you problems and makes you question shit. Like the thing is like there's a lot of healthy talk about mental health on Twitter in a lot of ways. And that's the thing that like Twitter is a cesspool in a lot of ways, but there's a lot of really good people to find on there. So
your Twitter has to be curated. You can't just like jump into Twitter and be like, "Oh, I'm going to take everything in here." No,
you can't freeball Twitter. That's not going to be a good way to go.
you can't raw dog Twitter, so
right.
You have to be safe.
That's a better way to phrase it than freeball. Thank you.
Literally the best way to say it, right? All right, Doug. I think we're ready to wrap this or send Allison on her way. I want to thank Allison for bringing all this interesting discussion to us because as males, it's something we don't understand, or as Doug was explaining during his little TED Talk there. TED Talk. You raised your voice a little bit, but whatever. There's things that we need to know, and people who watch us can observe it too. So I wanted to thank you for coming on and talking about us, and we'd love to get an update in the future. We will keep an eye on you if there's anything going on or any events that like you want us to talk about. I'm not sure what our audience is like in North Carolina, but we do have we do have people who watch us, all 4 of them, and 3 of them are Doug's friends. 2 of them are mine. So I can't even add. Anyway, thanks, Allison.
Yeah, well, thank y'all for having me on, and maybe someday it won't just be North Carolina, and
that'd be awesome.
So
Milwaukee's a nice Midwest city.
Yeah,
just letting you know.
I've heard.
Just letting. Doug, final words, and then.
All I can say is if you want to follow Allison on Twitter, just please do. It's funny as shit, but also there's funny shit, and then there's some things where she just hits things right on the head, and is willing to talk about things that are really super important. Yeah, and Manny jumps in at fucking an hour and a half, like, "Hello, pretty ladies," and then that's it. Yeah, you fucking came in late, dude. Manny's our resident.
What's Allison?
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go on, Manny. I'm sorry.
I would say Manny's a resident cereal expert. Like he loves cereal and has like a whole account about cereal. So yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Allison, what's your Twitter handle?
It's at Mean to Myself.
I know it's just like the most not Allison thing, and that's her.
I know.
Yeah, but do follow Blush Cowork on all those social media platforms. See what's going on there. And if you know anybody in North Carolina could use some help, please look her up. You'll be in good hands there.
Mhm.
Thanks, Alex. Have a good
Thank
one.
y'all.
Yep. Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Yep. Take
Absolutely.
care. Bye.
Dog.
Yeah.
Allison just had a LaCroix, right? That's
Yeah.
what he was drinking.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
All right. What you got, Greg?
Klein Star Coach. Good, easy drinker. Doug, I made it through.
Yeah, you did
Real
that.
fun.
And
I'm
you weren't.
getting mellow though.
Yeah. You look.
A THC infused seltzer.
Now your eyes are starting to
25 milligrams.
get. Your eyes are starting to get squinty. It'll be great. Yay.
I'm doing it on purpose, but whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Brandy old fashioned.
How was that?
It's a nice little cocktail. Yeah, it's still there, still going. I'll
Yeah.
probably finish it. It's a nice little cocktail. Not overly bourbony and all that, or whiskey or whatever is in brandy. Oh, this is a brandy old fashioned. I should read the label.
Maybe you should. Maybe you couldn't after that 25 milligram fucking thing. Maybe that was a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I enjoyed all my beverages, and they were a wide range.
Yeah. So mine were all over the place a little bit. I will say I had great beers tonight. All of my beers were excellent. If I'm going to rank, this is kind of surprise, but I love my box. It's like 1A, 1B, and 1C. That's how good all these were. So the Ironer Maybach, really good. The next one was the Hybridcation, which was a vanilla porter. Greg, you would absolutely love this beer. I'm going to bring some with you to bring some with me to Barrel and Flow so you can try some of this because it's fucking good. But this goddamn thing, this Triple Nader, woo, baby, was that awesome. I bought a 4-pack of that, and that was expensive as fuck, but this is really good. I'm cellaring one, and I'm going to see if I can't bring one to Barrel and Flow for you to try as well. And I still have a little bit of that left because that's not a chug beer. That is a sipper.
Look at this guy.
All right, Doug. We have no guest scheduled at this point for next week, so a variety of things could happen when that happens, y'all. Y'all know what those are.
Yep. We could show up. We could not show up. We could have a guest.
Badger Beer Hour this Wednesday.
Yeah.
There's that. And other than that, Doug, I think it's time to hit that good night button.
Yep. Good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Yes. Time
Cheers.
flies when you're having fun.
Yep. Thanks,
Yes.
Ali, for joining us.
That was not what I needed to hit. Even though Blush the woman-focused co-working space with childcare. And what city again? Is that Charlotte, right?
Charlotte? No, she's shaking.
We?
I don't know. It's North
goodness.
Carolina. We'll let everybody know.
It's exactly. Charlotte. It's Charlotte. Remember, she was with the Panthers. Cary, New York, or Cary,
New York. Oh
my God! All right.
All right. All that THC, dude. All right, man. Love you, dude. Thanks for doing all this.
Wow.